Hello, everybody. This is Ferris.
And this is Caleb Lenoir, and welcome to another episode of Conversations with the Homecare Guyz.
Oh, man. Caleb, brother. Man, I'm excited about today's conversation, brother.
Oh, yeah. We have a great conversation for you guys today. We're talking about six innovative devices that are in the home care industry. So I'm excited to actually just share so much stuff that, so much research that we have looked up for our market, our senior market.
Yeah.
But before we begin, Ferris, how was your week?
Man, the week's come on very good, brother. Very good, man. We did a soft lunch for our event center, which has been amazing. Right. I think we had 2 events that have been there. We still got some more finishing touches before we do the big grand reveal. Right. But man, it's been amazing. Big shout out to everybody who's played a part with getting that project done. Yeah. And we're like 96% finished, man. So I'm excited about that, brother.
It looks beautiful. I mean, once you go back there, it looks so beautiful. The kitchen is redone, tile flooring. Yeah. The DJ booth area is nice. So it looks amazing. Ferris, I wanted to share with you this show that I've been watching. I binge watched actually this week. And this show was called Inventing Anna.
Okay.
Have you seen that?
My wife actually saw it. I saw a majority of it. She left me.
Okay, so Shonda Rhimes is the creator and the producer of Inventing Anna, and I was like glued to the table. I was glued to the TV. Excuse me. Whole Saturday, Saturday and Sunday, I was glued. So I've been watched the whole show, and it's a really, really interesting show.
Did you like her dialect? Because she would kind of change up her dialect every now and then. She was
so she played the role of the Russian and the German, like that she was saying. She was like the German heiress. But it's so amazing how people can deceive you.
Yes,
and so like it's so how vulnerable. You can be, especially if you have an open heart and a loving heart, how vulnerable you could be. And then like people just use that as a tool to just kind of manipulate and to control. And that's not a good thing. So I saw so many sides of like both sides. I'm like, okay, it was a really great show. Yeah. Shonda Rhimes, she did a great job. And I was glued. I was really glued, but I was just like, oh my goodness, this lady just deceived, because I watched another show. Have you watched Fire Festival? It was like it happened way back in the so that was around the same time. Yeah, with Ja Rule and the other guy. And so those were around about the same time where they did like these little schemes. And we know about Bernie Madoff. Yeah. But this right here was like so subtle. It was so subtle, and this girl was just staying at all these hotels and living her best life. But she was just talking to talk and walking to walk, and then people just did not back it up. I was like, how could she go through all these years or months doing that? Wow.
Again, she was in character, and that's the thing is, like, I think her manipulation, she started believing and made other people. It's amazing when you have a belief system. When you have a belief system and you're true, and this is before we get to our conversation, because we have an amazing conversation. But when you believe in what you do so much, you can't help but to have others believe in you around. That's why the power of leadership is so important, because leadership is influence, and you can influence people to do the right thing or the wrong thing. But she believed in herself so much to the point where other people started believing in her dreams and believing that she could afford that big, I'm not gonna do a spoiler, but that big old piece of property in New York and all the other stuff as well. Is her belief system. Yeah. And I think that's one thing.
She believes she was the German heiress.
She believes she was the German. Look, before we jump into, man, I'm going to tell you another one. We're not going to delve into it, but we're going to go through. Another one you have to go through and watch is Blind Date.
I haven't seen that.
No, not Blind Date. What's, oh my gosh. Blind, I think it's called something Blind Date or Blind something on Netflix. It's amazing, but it was very good. But let's keep going, bro.
Okay, well, let's go into our conversation. Our conversation, we're talking about 6 innovative devices that will impact the home care market and home care industry. And so I want to start out with the first one. The first one is Joy for All. And so I have a standard poodle. Her name is Bella, but Joy for All is a tech company that actually make robotic pets, so cats and dogs. Wow. And so these cats and dogs are robots, but they look so human-like or pet like. They have the fur, they have the mannerism of a pet. They don't use the restroom, which is amazing for seniors, you know, not pretty much kind of like going up and down or cleaning the items for the pets. But they make all different sounds. And so they have actually one of the cats makes up to 32 different purrs or different types of sound. And so I thought that was interesting, just a component, because we know that a lot of seniors, especially people with Alzheimer's or older people, they need companions.
Yes.
And so these are companion pets. And so I thought that this was a great thing to really talk to you about. When you think, you don't have any pets right now, Ferris?
I don't have any pets, but I see the value of that. I was on I was looking on Facebook, I think a couple weeks ago, and I saw a young lady going live, and she was actually at a basketball game, and I saw an elderly person behind her with a baby doll in hand, and she was kind of holding the baby doll. And a lot of times as we age in place or we're suffering from different diagnoses or diseases, you never know what's going to go through and give a person comfort. It could be that baby doll where she's feel responsible for, or it could be that purring cat or that barking dog where she may have lost a dog, and in her mind, this is her dog or this is her cat as well.
Right.
But the companion and what it does is for the person, it brings them a sense of calmness.
Right.
It brings them a sense of responsibility. It brings them peace, because we never know, especially what they're dealing with on a mental state. But I think I think the invention of the robotic cat, robotic dog, robotic animal, I think it is actually answering a niche in the that's in our community as well.
Right. And so you can buy the cats for around $99, and you can buy the dogs or the puppies for like $119. And so I thought they were reasonably priced, because most dogs and cats cost, you know, $500, $1,000 or so.
And then you have to go through and get the shots,
and then,
feeding, and
you
clean up.
Shots. I didn't think about that. You had to worry about shots or anything like that. And so they have sold over 150,000 pets already.
Wow.
And so I thought that was really great. So that was Joy for All. Let's go into the next one.
Man, another innovative device that I feel that a lot of senior or aging individuals need to have is actually the Ring device. Right. And I'm not talking about Ring on your finger. I'm talking about the Ring alert or alarm system. Many people, and this is something that's relatively inexpensive. When I say relatively, you can get a whole system probably for less than $200. But when you're talking about peace of mind, especially as family members, especially if you're caring for a loved one, a mom, dad, child, or whatever, you can go through and set different devices up in different rooms to give you different alerts. So let's say if you're living in another state or down the street, you may have a camera that's on the front and back porch so you can know when mom and dad goes out, because the worst thing to do is not have peace of mind while your parents stand by themselves, especially if they're aging in place. So they have different alert systems. They have alerts that you can put them in different rooms. You can go through and do smoke detector, carbon monoxide detector, and you can get an alert straight on your phone when things happen as well. So the reason why I chose the Ring alarm system, because it's relatively inexpensive, but what it does is it gives peace of mind and safety, knowing that your loved one is taken care of.
And then you can really check those devices from your phone, right?
You can go through. And another thing I like about it, you can have two-way communication from your phone. That means you can talk through the camera system. If you have a Ring doorbell, you can see when they're coming in and out. You can see who's coming to visit. Right. A lot of safety and security can come from it, just because you as an adult or as a responsible guardian is actually monitoring it as well. Right. But it also allows for the family member to live independently. I wouldn't recommend going through and putting things in the restroom and things of that sort, but you can put like different sensors that if they go into the restroom, you get alerted. And now if they don't come out in a certain time frame, you know that's the place they went last. Right. It's so powerful to go through and have that at your fingertips. And I think that's a very innovative device.
I think it's great, because especially even with seniors living in the home by themselves, you know, sometimes they are probably you know, they want to know who's at the door, especially at nighttime. So it's always at nighttime. You can always ask, you know, instead you can look on your phone. You teach them, you know, who's at the door, so they can be able to see who's at the door before they just go out there to the door and open it, because they'll be prone, you know, to burglaries. Yeah. And so I think that's great. And also in my community where I live right now in East Point, they have a lot of people use these Ring alarms. Yes. And people be taking packages, Ferris. I'm talking about they be taking. So the Ring alarm will record all these packages, especially that you order. And so it's a safety protocol for seniors as well as for any adult, or anyone that has a home. I think that's a great tool.
And one thing I do like about the Ring device as well is if as you build out the app in the community, you can go through and get alerts on what's going on in that particular community.
Like
so
neighborhood,
neighborhood. So that's one thing is I like that. Okay, well, hey, if something's going on in my particular neighborhood, I can get an alert. And let's say if I was monitoring my mother's house, I'm gonna give you an example. Come to think of it, I'll never forget. A few years ago, our auntie came and stayed with our mom and moved from South Carolina. And so my mom actually put our auntie's vehicle in her garage, but she left the garage door open.
I remember that.
And I'll never forget, I came and actually put the Ring alarm system, the Ring doorbell on her garage, because I was like, okay, I just felt the tug to go through and do that. Put it in the garage. And that very night, a person broke into our auntie's car,
right,
and stole her last will and testimony, and a lot of her official paperwork. Fortunately, I was able to get a picture and a video of that person. Unfortunately, nobody never caught him. But again, if we would not have actually got that, I promise you, our mom would probably search and thinking she put it up somewhere. We would have never knew. Because we didn't know that, but fortunately, because we had a Ring alarm system, we were able to capture that.
Right.
And I think this goes hand in hand even when you're doing in-home care. Like if you're away and you want to go through and check and make sure the aide is doing what they're supposed to be doing, you can have cameras inside the home and monitor as well. So many different options.
Hey, have you heard of this new program called Structured Family Caregiving? It is helping so many Georgians. Hi, my name is Jackie Ware, and I'm a health coach for Prime Care Home Care Services. And over the past year, we've helped so many families receive the necessary care they need. So one thing about this Structured Family Caregiving program, it allows for family caregivers to be the full-time caregiver, to receive expert oversight, and receive a weekly stipend. Yes, you heard me right. If you are interested in this program, please give me a call at 706-399-2983. Thank you.
Right. I think that Ring is amazing. Let's talk about the next one, which is the VitalTech. And so VitalTech is a watch. And so back in the day, Ferris, they used to have emergency response buttons where the seniors used to wear around their neck, and if they fall, they press the button, then ambulance or a medical response team will come. And so they have a new device, sort of like the iWatch, but for seniors. It's called VitalTech. It's a watch that monitors for falls and can call for the emergency response system, as well as monitor respiratory and oxygen saturation levels. And so I thought that was a great device to really kind of put out, because most seniors don't want to put things around their neck and look as obvious as like, I need help.
Correct.
And so it's a watch, just like everyone wears a watch. And so definitely, I think if your senior is prone to falls or lives alone, I think that they definitely need to have access and learn how to operate a watch.
Yeah, I like that too. And so does it get like GPS signal to where they are? So if for some reason they actually, let's say if they're actually at a park and they can press a button, will it give a response GPS?
I'm quite sure it does a GPS, because it does, like, it locates you whenever you're doing the fall. So I definitely quite sure it does that. One thing I do also like about the watch gives a medication reminder as well.
Like that.
So that's another updated feature on the watch, is it gives a medication reminder.
I like that. And again, as we're having this conversation, we'll have links below in the comment section, not in the comment section, in the show notes section, that you can go through and click on to actually check out some of these products as well. Right. Moving right along, Caleb, one thing that I see that a lot of seniors or a lot of disabled individuals, when it's hard for them to ambulate, we always, when we're asking, when people are qualifying for one of our a few of our Medicaid programs, we ask them, do they need assistive devices to ambulate? Right. That means, do you need assistance to stand up? Do you need assistance with walking around? And so one thing that we go through and actually do is one thing I found was the electric rise recliner chair. I recommend this for anybody who has a hard time getting up. I remember when I used to go out and market, I used to ask seniors, are you able to get up? Just put your hand, if you have to do like this to get up, you need assistance to get up.
Right.
And so the rising recline chair, what it does is it's electric chair, and it just rises. It actually, the chair comes up so they can stand up on their own without having to go through and actually exert a lot of energy trying to stand
my
up.
Uncle Vernon had, Uncle Vernon had one of those.
He did have one of those. And because now if they have grip socks or grip shoes, now they happen to get up and they're able to sit down without having to go through and actually risk a fall. And so that's
how much do like those chairs run? Like, do they run like are they expensive or
they can be they can be expensive. They have I think starting at $500 go as high as you want due to the comfort level, because you can have different types of comforts when it comes to reclining as well.
Right.
So that's something, again, I will have the link in our show notes to go through and actually show that. But it's very important because, again, these individuals have unsteady gait. People have a hard time getting in and out of a chair. Arthritis. And one thing, Caleb, I saw when I was researching this was a lot of times when seniors when they fall, and especially when they fall out of bed, they fear getting back in bed. And one thing that you'll see is a lot of times they'll go through. If you go to a elderly person's house, you'll see they may have a blanket on their recliner or on their couch
because they sleep there.
Because they sleep there, Because they sleep there, because that's where they find more comfort is right there. And so again, if for some reason they have a recliner that can help them get up, that can build their confidence level up to eventually get back as well. And they have beds that can help as well. But like I said, like that's one thing that I thought was really, really needed.
I think that's great too. I would love to just be curious about the cost on that. That's really great. One thing that we have I have in my home is this robotic, this like iRobot vacuum. And so I thought that was a great device to share for our senior community, because sometimes, you don't feel like sweeping. You don't feel like sweeping and mopping. And so they have these little iRobot circular vacuums where they can go in and just kind of go in and automatically does it. It goes back and go back to its own charging station, and it just sweeps and collect all this dust, and you just empty it out at the end of the week. And so I think that that's a great tool to have, especially if you're up in age and you can't really kind of maneuver the way that you want to. It goes in those areas that are that can't be cleaned easily, and so you can really just kind of use that robotic device as a method of cleaning. And so I thought that was a great tool as well.
Man, I love the iRobots. I love the robotic vacuums, because again, you can go through and actually this kind of goes through, and what it does is it allows for your loved one to have a clean floor. It allows for you to know that, okay, it's getting cleaned daily as well. So I know we have one at our house as well, and we have it set to go off at 2 o'clock in the morning. So what it does is it vacuums the carpets, the wooden floors as well, and it goes back to the recharging station. So we know every morning when we get up, at least the floor is gonna be done. So we may have to go through and clean the counters and all this other stuff, but at least we know the floors can get done. And I think what that does is it takes a load off of seniors, so now they don't have to worry about sweeping and mopping as well, and it gives just a good sense of environment for them as well, man. Exactly.
I think we have one more, Ferris. I'm gonna let you dive into the last one.
The last one that we have is it's called the Hero Smart Dispenser. We know that there are millions of Americans that are actually taking medication.
Yes.
And one thing that the status says that 50% of Americans don't take their medications as prescribed. And what this does is it actually creates readmissions to hospitals. It creates sicknesses that are uncalled for just because they're not taking the medication as prescribed. So if you, with the Heroes medication device, what happens is they're able to go through, and a family member, a loved one, or a specialized person, they can go through and set the medication in the device. And then your loved one is able to go through and get that medication as dispensed, as ordered by the doctor.
Nice.
And then, so let's say if a person misses the medication, then an alert can go to that loved one's phone, that son or daughter's phone, to realize that, hey, mom forgot to go through and take her medication that day.
It's like a sensor or something like that allows them to grab the medication?
Yeah, so it's like a little small cup that they'll put up under, and then the medication would drop on the prescribed time. Then they'll get an alert saying it's time to take medication, and then you just put the cup right there and the medication drops.
Wow.
And if your loved one does not go through and actually get to the dispenser and take and receive the medication, you can get an alert on your phone as well saying that,
wow,
that, okay, mom did not take her medication.
That is amazing.
It is amazing because, again, what it does is it helps to go through and create compliance in medication.
I like that.
But also it actually helps to go through and actually create a sense of peace for the family member who's caring for their loved one. Because a lot of people, they live in different states or different cities, but they want to go through and make sure that their loved one is taken care of. They want to make sure. And I think all the devices that we talked about today, independently, they do very well. But when you combine some of them with the device, with the camera and everything, you can go through and make sure that your loved one remains in the comfort of their own home as long as possible as well.
I think that's great. Oh, so you have your caregivers, which is the cleaning on a day-to-day basis. You know, not necessarily personal care. You have a chair that lifts you up. You know, to take your medicine with the hero. Or if you do fall, you got your watch, right? You got, this is amazing.
You got to take care of.
You really pretty much kind of got all new innovative devices that are going to be trending in the home care industry. And so you heard it first right here at Conversation with the Homecare Guys, the new devices and technologies. And so, Petzzz, don't you in our podcast? This has been a great podcast.
Man, this has been an amazing podcast. We want to let you know, like, again, in the show notes, you'll actually see links to for those different devices. And right now, of course, we're not sponsored by any one of those services, companies, or anything. So we can't go through and actually guarantee anything of their products and everything. So we're not sponsored by it, but these are just recommendations that we see that's making an impact in the seniors' lives as well. So again, we want you to definitely tune in each week. You can check us out on Spotify, iOS devices for Apple, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram.
Right.
We drop great content every Tuesday and Thursday. Go through, like, subscribe, share our information. Let someone know that they should be tuned in to Conversation with the Homecare Guys.
Exactly. And definitely follow us on social media, Caleb Homecare CEO. Ferris Homecare COO, as well as follow the Homecare Guys on Facebook and Instagram. All right. Well,